What if the foods you consider the most manly, the most satisfying, the most deeply ingrained in your life as a man are the very things that are systematically unmanning you? That sizzling slice of bacon in the morning, that ballpark hot dog on a summer afternoon, that satisfying salami sandwich you've been eating for lunch since you were a boy. You think of these foods as a pleasure, a reward, a taste of the good life. But what if they are a betrayal? What if every bite is flooding your body with a chemical cocktail that is quietly shutting down your body's production of testosterone, the very hormone that makes you a man? That stubborn belly fat that clings to you no matter what, that brain fog that makes it hard to think clearly, that crushing fatigue that steals your energy and your drive, and that slow, humiliating fade of your sexual desire and performance. You have been told that this is just what it means to be a man over 60. That is a lie. This is not the inevitable process of aging. This is the direct result of a diet filled with poison, a poison that has been cleverly disguised as your favorite foods, a poison that you have been willingly feeding yourself for decades without ever knowing the devastating price you would pay. Hello, my name is Dr. Julian Hayes. I am a board-certified urologist. I am also 71 years old. I have spent the last 43 years of my life on the front lines, helping men navigate the often confusing and frightening changes that happen to their bodies as they age. I have seen the pain and confusion in the eyes of thousands of men who felt their power, their vitality, and their identity slipping through their fingers. And I can tell you, with no uncertainty, that one of the single biggest drivers of this decline is sitting in your refrigerator right now. The processed meats that have become a staple of the American diet are not just bad for your heart, they are a direct chemical assault on your testosterone. Today, I am going to pull back the curtain. I will unmask the 5 absolute worst processed meats that you must eliminate from your diet if you want to reclaim your masculine health. I will explain the science of how these so-called foods are systematically destroying your hormones, but I will not leave you with a plate of lettuce and despair. For each food I tell you to avoid, I will give you a powerful, delicious, and satisfying alternative that will help you rebuild your testosterone, restore your energy, and feel like a man again. Stay with me, because the choices you make at the grocery store this week could change the course of your life. Before we can name the 5 culprits, you must first understand the battlefield. You need to know the specific weapons these processed meats are using to wage war on your endocrine system. There are 3 primary weapons in their arsenal. The first, and most notorious, are nitrates and nitrites. These are chemical compounds used to preserve processed meats. They are what give bacon its kink color and prevent it from going bad on the shelf. When you consume nitrates and nitrites, they can convert in your body into dangerous compounds called nitrosamines. These nitrosamines are potent carcinogens, which is why processed meats have been linked to an increased risk of cancer. But for our purposes, the more immediate danger is what they do to your testicles. The Leydig cells in your testicles are the factories that produce over 95% of your body's testosterone. And these Leydig cells are exquisitely sensitive to oxidative stress. The nitrosamines created from the preservatives in your bacon and sausage generate a massive amount of oxidative stress. They are like tiny little grenades going off inside your most sensitive hormonal machinery. This damage directly impairs the ability of your Leydig cells to produce testosterone. I had a patient, a 69-year-old retired police officer named Frank. He was a meat and potatoes man. He started every single day with bacon and eggs. He said it was the breakfast of champions. But Frank was no champion. He was exhausted. He had severe erectile dysfunction, and his testosterone levels were lower than some of my 85-year-old patients. Frank's breakfast of champions was in reality a daily dose of testicular poison. He was starting every day by carpet bombing his own testosterone factories. The second weapon these processed meats use is something called advanced glycation end products, or for short, AGEs. AGEs are harmful compounds that are formed when foods, especially those high in fat and protein, are cooked at high temperatures. Think about the process of frying bacon, grilling a hot dog, or searing a sausage. This high-heat cooking creates a massive amount of these AGEs. When you consume them, they cause widespread inflammation and oxidative stress throughout your entire body. But they have a particular affinity for your blood vessels. They make the delicate lining of your arteries stiff, brittle, and inflamed. This is a condition known as endothelial dysfunction, and it is a primary cause of erectile dysfunction. Your arteries lose their ability to relax and expand to allow blood to flow in. So while the nitrates are poisoning your testosterone factories, the AGEs from the high heat cooking are hardening the very pipes needed to deliver blood for an erection. It is a devastating 1-2 punch. The third weapon is more insidious. It is a hidden hormonal assault from xenoestrogens. Xenoestrogens are chemicals that mimic the female hormone estrogen in your body, and they are rampant in low-quality, factory-farmed processed meats. They come from multiple sources. The plastic packaging that deli meats are wrapped in often contains phthalates, a potent xenoestrogen that leaches into the meat. The animals themselves, raised in factory farms, are often fed a diet of genetically modified soy, which is loaded with phytoestrogens. And sometimes they are injected with synthetic hormones to grow faster. When a man over 60, whose testosterone is already declining, consumes these meats, he is consuming a cocktail of feminizing chemicals. These xenoestrogens bind to your hormone receptors, blocking your own testosterone from working. They tell your body to store fat, especially around the chest and belly, and they send a signal to your brain to further shut down its own production of testosterone. If you are finding this information valuable, please take a moment to comment the word "yes" below, just so I know you're getting this. Thank you for your valuable time. Now, let's continue. I had a patient, a 72-year-old man named George. He was a widower, and he told me he lived on deli meat sandwiches. They were easy, he didn't have to cook, turkey, ham, salami. He ate them every single day. George came to me with classic signs of what we call estrogen dominance. He had developed soft, fatty tissue around his chest. He had no libido, and he told me he felt emotional and weepy for no reason. George was not going crazy. He was being systematically poisoned by the estrogens in his convenient, easy lunches. He thought he was just eating a sandwich, but he was eating a daily dose of hormonal disruption. Nitrates, AGEs, and xenoestrogens. These are the three weapons. Now it is time to identify the 5 soldiers who are carrying them on to the battlefield of your body.
It is time to name names. Number 1, bacon and breakfast sausage. I know this is painful to hear. For many men, bacon and sausage are more than just food. They are a symbol of a satisfying, traditional breakfast. They are a weekend ritual. But they are also the poster children for everything we have just discussed. They are loaded with nitrates and nitrites to preserve them. They are almost always cooked at very high temperatures, creating a massive load of inflammatory AGEs. And the vast majority of bacon and sausage comes from factory-farmed pigs that are raised in horrific conditions and fed a diet of genetically modified grains. Starting your day with bacon or sausage is like starting a race by shooting yourself in the foot. You are setting your body up for a day of inflammation, oxidative stress, and hormonal disruption. So what is the alternative? How can you have a satisfying, masculine breakfast without poisoning yourself? The answer is simple, and it's been right in front of you the whole time. The swap. Pasture-raised eggs. Eggs, especially those from chickens that are allowed to roam free and eat their natural diet, are a true superfood for men. The yolk is packed with healthy cholesterol, which is the direct building block of testosterone. It also contains choline for brain health and vitamin D for immune function. A breakfast of 3 pasture-raised eggs, cooked gently in butter or coconut oil, will give you more clean energy, more hormonal support, and more satisfaction than a plate of greasy, nitrate-laden bacon ever could. Number 2. Hot dogs and bratwurst. The hot dog is an American icon. It is the food of baseball games, of summer barbecues, of childhood. It is also, without exaggeration, one of the most toxic food-like substances you can put in your body. A hot dog is not meat. It is a meat product. It is made from the leftover trimmings, the scraps, the fatty tissues, and the organs of factory-farmed animals. These scraps are grounded to a fine paste, mixed with a slurry of chemical preservatives, artificial flavors, and fillers like corn syrup and soy protein, and then extruded into a casing. They are the absolute bottom of the barrel when it comes to quality. They are packed with nitrates, AGEs from the high-heat grilling, and a host of other chemicals your body simply does not recognize as food. There is no redeeming quality to a hot dog. It is a nutritional black hole. So what do you eat at the summer barbecue? The swap. A grass-fed burger. Instead of the mystery meat tube, opt for a simple patty of ground beef. But quality is everything. It must be 100% grass-fed. Cows are designed to eat grass. When they are fed their natural diet, their meat is rich in healthy omega-3 fatty acids, conjugated linoleic acid, which helps with fat loss, and a host of vitamins and minerals. When cows are raised in factory farms and fed a diet of genetically modified corn and soy, their meat becomes inflammatory and hormonally disruptive. So choose wisely. A simple, delicious grass-fed burger on the grill is a powerful, testosterone-supporting meal. A hot dog is a chemical wasteland. Number 3. Processed deli meats. This is the category that includes salami, bologna, pepperoni, and most of the pre-sliced ham and turkey you find in the refrigerated section of the grocery store. This is the king of convenience, and it is also the king of hidden hormonal disruptors. As we discussed with George, the patient who lived on sandwiches, these meats are a triple threat. They are cured with nitrates, they are often high in sodium, which can impact blood pressure, but their biggest danger comes from the xenoestrogens. They are almost always made from low-quality, factory-farmed meat, and they are packaged in soft plastics that leach phthalates and other estrogen-mimicking chemicals directly into the fat of the meat. Every time you make a simple sandwich with these meats, you are making a hormonal withdrawal from your body's bank account. So how do you make a quick, easy, healthy sandwich? The swap. Home-cooked shredded chicken or roast beef. This requires a little bit of planning, but it is a game changer. Once a week, cook a whole chicken or a small beef roast. Once it is cooled, shred the meat and keep it in a glass container in your refrigerator. Now you have a supply of clean, high-quality protein for the entire week. No nitrates, no chemicals, no plastic packaging, just pure, muscle-building, testosterone-supporting food. It takes an extra hour of your time on a Sunday, but it will give you back years of your life in vitality. Number 4. Canned meats. This is the category that includes things like Spam, canned Vienna sausages, and other shelf-stable meat products. These are, in many ways, the worst of the worst. They undergo extreme processing at very high temperatures to make them shelf-stable for years. This process creates a massive load of inflammatory AGEs. They're also incredibly high in sodium and preservatives. But the biggest danger comes from the can itself. Most metal cans are lined with a plastic coating that contains bisphenol A, or BPA. BPA is one of the most notorious and well-studied xenoestrogens on the planet. It is a potent hormonal disruptor that has been linked to everything from erectile dysfunction to obesity to man boobs. When the fatty, salty meat product sits in that can for months or years, the BPA leaches out of the lining and into the food. There is absolutely no reason for a man who values his health to ever eat anything out of a can, especially a canned meat product. The swap: canned wild-caught salmon or sardines. If you absolutely must eat from a can for convenience, there are two exceptions that are actually superfoods: wild-caught salmon and sardines. These fish are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which are incredibly anti-inflammatory, and they're a great source of protein and vitamin D. But you must look for two things on the label. First, it must say wild-caught. Farm salmon is an inflammation nightmare. Second, it must say BPA-free can. Most reputable brands now offer this option. Number 5. Most jerky and meat sticks. This is another food that is marketed as a high-protein, healthy, masculine snack. But the vast majority of beef jerky and meat sticks on the market are just another form of processed junk food. They are typically made from low-quality, factory-farmed beef, and they are loaded with corn syrup, MSG, and chemical preservatives. They are a salty, sugary chemical stick that will spike your insulin and inflame your body. The swamp: biltong or pasture-raised jerky. If you enjoy dried meat snacks, you need to find a better source. There are now many brands that make jerky from 100% grass-fed, pasture-raised beef, and they use natural preservation methods without all the sugar and chemicals. An even better option is a traditional South African dried meat called biltong. Biltong is air-dried, not dehydrated with heat, which means it contains far less inflammatory AGEs, and it is typically made with simple, clean ingredients. You have now been armed with the intelligence you need to navigate the treacherous territory of the modern food supply. You know the 5 primary enemies of your testosterone: bacon and sausage, hot dogs, deli meats, canned meats, and commercial jerky. And for each enemy, you have a powerful, healthy, and delicious replacement. You have a choice. Every single day, at every single meal, you have a choice. You can choose to eat the foods that are chemically castrating you, or you can choose to eat the foods that will rebuild you into the strong, vital, powerful man you were meant to be. I want you to imagine the man you will be in 3 months if you make this change today. Imagine looking in the mirror and seeing a leaner, stronger version of yourself, the stubborn belly fat finally starting to melt away. Imagine waking up in the morning feeling a surge of clean energy and mental clarity, not a fog of fatigue. Imagine the return of your drive, your ambition, your libido, the fire in your belly being relit. And imagine the look of surprise and delight in your partner's eyes when they see and feel this new vitality in you, when they reconnect with the strong, confident, passionate man they fell in love with. This is not a far-off dream. This is the direct, inevitable result of changing the fuel you put in your body. You are not just changing your diet. You are changing your destiny. You are choosing a future of strength over a future of weakness. Now that you know which meats are destroying your testosterone, it is absolutely essential that you learn about the one so-called healthy cooking oil that is causing massive inflammation and further disrupting your hormones. It is likely in your kitchen right now. I expose this dangerous oil in my very next video, and you need to watch it now. But before you go, I want you to make a commitment. To me, but more importantly, to yourself.
In the comments below, I want you to write down just